Hello everyone, I'm Hannah Vijay M. Oreya from BSHM 1F. In this presentation, I will discuss about President Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos. Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos was born on September 11, 1917, in the town of Sarat, Ilocos Norte. Marcos studied law at the University of the Philippines in Manila, attending the College of Law. He excelled in both curricular and extracurricular activity, becoming a member of the university's swimming, boxing, and wrestling teams. While attending the UP College of Law, he became a member of the Upsilon Sigma Pi, where he met his future life in government and some of his Sanchez critics. When he sat for the 1939 bar examinations, he was a bar top-notcher with a score of 92.35%. He graduated cum laude. He was elected to the Pi Gamma Mu and the Pi Kappa Pi International Honor Societies, the latter giving him its most distinguished member award 37 years later. Ferdinand Marcos received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree in 1967 from Central Philippine University. His father, Mariano Marcos, was a lawyer, educator, and politician from Batac, Ilocos Norte, Philippines, a congressman from 1925 to 1931. And his mother, Josefa Edralin, was a school teacher who would far outlive her husband, dying in 1988. 2 years after, the Marcos family left her in Malacañang Palace when they fell into exile after the 1986 People Power Revolution. Ferdinand E. Marcos had 3 siblings: Pacifico Edralin Marcos, Elizabeth Marcos Keyon, and Fortuna Marcos Barba. President Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos Sr., also called Ferdinand E. Marcos, he was elected as the 10th President of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. President Ferdinand E. Marcos had 3 terms of being President of the Philippines. His first term was inaugurated to his first term as the 10th President of the Philippines on December 30, 1965. His inauguration marked the beginning of the 2-decade-long stay in power. Even though the 1935 Philippines Constitution had set a limit of 2 to 4 years term of office, Marcos had won the Philippine presidential election of 1965 against the incumbent President Diosdado Macapagal. Before Marcos' presidency, the Philippines was the second largest economy in Asia, behind only Japan. He pursued an aggressive program of infrastructure development funded by foreigner loans, making him very popular throughout almost all of his first term and eventually making him the first and only president of the Third Philippine Republic to win a second term. Although it would also triggered an inflationary crisis which would lead to social unrest of his second term, and would even eventually lead to his declaration of martial law in 1972. Marcos' first term from 1965 to 1969 had been relatively successful, marked by industrialization, infrastructure development, and an increase in rice production. Second term in 1969 to 1972. Ferdinand Marcos' second term as a President of the Philippines began on December 30, 1969. As a result of his winning the 1969 Philippine presidential election nearly 2 months earlier on November 11, 1969. Marcos was the first and last president of the Third Philippine Republic to win a second full term. The end of Marcos' second term was supposed to be in December 1973, which would also have been the end of his presidency, become the 1935 Constitution of the Philippines allowed him to have only the 4 years term. However, Marcos issued Proclamation 1081 in law and effectively extending his term indefinitely. He would only be removed from the presidency in 1986 as a result of the People Power Revolution. Martial law era in 1972 to 1981. Marcos's declaration of martial law became known to the public on September 23, 1972, when his President Secretary Francisco Tatad announced through the radio that Proclamation number 1081, which Marcos had supposedly signed 2 days earlier on September 21, had come into force and would extend Marcos' rule beyond the constitutional 2-term limit. Ruling by decree, he almost dissolved press freedom and other civil liberties to add propaganda machine, closed down Congress and media establishment, and ordered the arrest of opposition leaders and limited activities, including Senators Benigno Aquino Jr., Juanito Salonga, and Jose Diokno. Marcos claimed the martial law was the prelude to creating his bagong lupain, a new society based on a new social and political values. Third term in 1981 to 1986. On June 16, 1981, 6 months after the lifting of martial law, the first presidential election in 12 years was held. President Marcos ran while the major opposition parties, the United Nationalist Democratic Organization, a coalition of opposition parties, and Laban, boycotted the election. Marcos won a massive victory over the other candidates.